Hi, I'm Dahlia. 3 years ago, my husband Marcus and I welcomed our daughter Emma into our lives through adoption. She was 6 months old, with these big brown eyes that seemed to take in everything. I remember the first night she slept in our nursery, how I kept checking on her every hour, terrified and thrilled in equal measure. "You're going to wear a hole in the carpet," Marcus had whispered, pulling me back to bed. "She's fine. We're going to be great parents." And we were. At least I thought we were. Marcus's mother, Linda, had been skeptical from the start. The first time she held Emma, she'd smiled tightly and said, "Well, she's lovely. I just hope you two know what you're getting into." "We've been preparing for 2 years, Mom," Marcus had replied, tension creeping into his voice. "We've taken all the classes, done all the home studies." "I'm sure you have, sweetheart. I'm just saying raising a child, especially one that's not biologically yours, it's complicated." I'd bitten my tongue then. I should have said something. Over the next 3 years, Linda's comments became more frequent. Every tantrum, every scraped knee, every normal childhood struggle became evidence in her private case against us. "Emma seems very clingy," she'd observed during Sunday dinners. "Are you sure you're fostering independence?" "She's 3, Linda," I'd say, forcing a smile. 3-year-olds are supposed to be clingy. Well, I raised 4 children, and none of them acted quite like that. Marcus would change the subject, but the damage was done. Each visit left me feeling inadequate, questioned, judged. Last Tuesday, everything imploded. I was at work when my phone rang, an unknown number. "Is this Dahlia Chen?" "Yes, who's calling?" "This is Margaret Wells from Child Protective Services. We need to speak with you immediately regarding Emma Chen. There's been a report filed and we need you to come to our office this afternoon." My heart stopped. "A report? What kind of report? Is Emma okay?" "We can discuss everything when you arrive. Can you be here by 2 o'clock? I barely remember driving there. Margaret was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes that didn't match the bomb she was about to drop. "Miss Chen, we received a detailed report expressing serious concerns about your fitness as an adoptive parent. The complainant provided specific incidents suggesting neglect and emotional instability." "What? That's insane. Who would—" "Your mother-in-law, Linda Chen." The room tilted. "Linda? What did she tell you?" Margaret consulted her notes. "She claims you frequently leave Emma unsupervised, that you've had multiple emotional breakdowns in front of the child, that you've expressed regret about the adoption, and that she's witnessed concerning bruises on Emma that you couldn't adequately explain." None of that is true. Emma fell at the playground last week. That's where the bruise came from. I called Linda that same day and told her about it. "Miss Chen, I understand this is upsetting, but we have to investigate every report thoroughly. Given the specificity of the allegations, and the fact that they come from a family member, we're required to take immediate action." "What does that mean?" Margaret's expression softened with pity. "It means Emma will be placed in temporary foster care while we complete our investigation." I called Marcus before I even left the CPS office. "They're taking her," I sobbed. "Marcus, they're taking Emma away from us." "What? Dahlia, slow down. Who's taking her?" "CPS. Your mother reported me. She told them I'm unfit, that I neglect Emma, that I hurt her. They believed her." The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. "Marcus?" "I'm here." His voice was hollow. "I'm leaving work now. Where are you?" We met at home. Emma was already gone, picked up from daycare by a social worker. Her toys were scattered across the living room floor. Evidence of a normal morning that had ended in catastrophe. Marcus paced like a caged animal. "This has to be a mistake. My mother wouldn't—" "She did, Marcus. They have her statement. Detailed allegations about specific incidents. Then we'll prove they're false. We'll get our lawyer. We'll show them." His phone rang. We both stared at it. Linda's name on the screen. Marcus answered on speaker. "Mom." "Oh, Marcus, honey, I just heard the news. I'm so sorry you're going through this." I watched my husband's face transform from confusion to realization to rage. "You're sorry?" His voice was dangerously quiet. "You're sorry?" I know this must be difficult, but sometimes tough decisions have to be made for a child's welfare. You know I've been worried about Dahlia for a while now. She's just not equipped. Stop. The word cracked like a whip. Just stop talking. Marcus, I'm trying to help. Once this all settles down and Dahlia gets the help she needs, maybe you two can try again with a child who's a better fit. A better fit? I couldn't stay quiet anymore. Emma is our daughter. Dahlia, dear, I know you've gotten attached, but you have to admit you've been struggling. Remember when you called me crying because Emma wouldn't stop having tantrums? Or when you told me you were exhausted and didn't know if you could keep doing this? Every parent says those things. I was venting to you because I thought I could trust you. I had to think about what was best for Emma. Someone had to. Marcus hung up. Then he threw his phone across the room. The next morning, our lawyer Rebecca arrived with coffee and a legal pad. Okay, she said, settling at our kitchen table. Tell me everything. Every interaction with Linda, every incident she mentioned in her report, every witness who can verify the truth. How bad is this? I asked. Rebecca didn't sugarcoat it. It's serious. False reports happen, but family members carry weight with CPS. We need to prove not just that you're fit parents, but that Linda deliberately lied. Why would she do this? Marcus's voice cracked. That's my mother. I don't understand. I spoke with Emma's daycare, Rebecca continued, pulling out her notes. Her teacher, Miss Sarah, wants to provide a statement. She says Emma is thriving, well-adjusted, shows no signs of neglect or abuse. That's something, I said. It's a start. I also contacted your pediatrician. Dr. Morrison has detailed records of every visit, every vaccination, every concern you've brought to her attention. She's willing to testify that you're attentive, engaged parents. Over the next week, we built our case. Friends, neighbors, Emma's occupational therapist, everyone who knew us rallied with statements and testimony. Each conversation felt like gathering ammunition for a war I never wanted to fight. My best friend Jennifer came over with dinner one night. How are you holding up? She asked, watching me push food around my plate. I keep thinking about Emma. Is she scared? Does she think we abandoned her? She's 3, Jen. She won't understand why we're not there. You're going to get her back. Everyone knows Linda's lying. But why? That's what I can't figure out. Why would she do this to her own son? Jennifer hesitated. Do you really want my theory? Yes. I think she never accepted the adoption. I think she's been waiting for an excuse to prove you couldn't handle it, so Marcus would leave you and find someone who could give her real grandchildren. The truth in her words made me nauseous. The confrontation happened at CPS, during what was supposed to be a mediation session. Linda arrived with her own lawyer, dressed immaculately, playing the concerned grandmother. Margaret opened the meeting. We're here to discuss the allegations and review evidence from both parties. Linda, would you like to begin? Thank you, Margaret. I want to start by saying I love my son and Dahlia. This has been agonizing for me, but I have a responsibility to my granddaughter. She's not your granddaughter, I said. You've made that clear. Linda's expression flickered. Dahlia, that's not fair. Not fair? You want to talk about fair? Marcus leaned forward. You filed a false report that got our daughter taken away. The report wasn't false. I documented incidents of neglect and emotional instability. Rebecca spread papers across the table. Let's examine those incidents. You claimed Dahlia left Emma unsupervised multiple times. Where and when? I don't have specific dates, but I witnessed it on several occasions. Interesting, because Emma's daycare records show she was in their care during every weekday. Dahlia works from home on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we have her work logs showing she was logged in during those times, with Emma visible on her colleagues' video calls. Linda's lawyer whispered something to her. You also mentioned bruises, Rebecca continued, on March 15th, specifically. You claim Dahlia couldn't explain them. She was evasive when I asked. Actually, she called you that same day to tell you Emma fell at the playground. We have the phone records. And the playground incident was witnessed by 3 other parents who've provided statements. Emma's pediatrician examined her the next day and documented the injury as consistent with a typical childhood fall. Well, I must have misremembered the sequence of events. You misremembered. Marcus's voice was ice. Or you lied. Marcus, please. No, you don't get to Marcus, please me. You tried to destroy my family. I was trying to protect Emma. From what? I demanded. From parents who love her? From stability and security? What exactly were you protecting her from? Linda's composure cracked. You don't understand what it's like, watching your son raise someone else's child. Watching him pour all his love into a stranger when he could have... When he could have what? Marcus stood up. When he could have left his wife because we couldn't conceive? When he could have made you biological grandchildren instead? That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. You never accepted Emma. You never accepted that Dahlia and I built our family our way? Margaret intervened. Mrs. Chen, did you file this report because of genuine concerns for Emma's welfare? Or because of your feelings about the adoption? Linda looked around the room, realizing she was cornered. I believed Emma would be better off with parents who could... Who could what? I pressed. Love her more than we do? Because that's impossible. You don't understand the bond between a mother and her biological child. You're right, I don't. But I understand the bond between a mother and her daughter. Biology doesn't determine that. Love does. And you used your position as a family member to weaponize CPS against us because you're a bigot who doesn't believe adopted children are real children. Linda stood abruptly. I don't have to listen to this. Actually, you do, Rebecca said calmly. Because we're filing a civil suit against you for filing a false report, emotional distress, and defamation. And we'll be requesting that the court grant a restraining order preventing you from having any contact with Emma. You can't keep me from my granddaughter. She's not your granddaughter, Marcus said quietly. You made that clear when you tried to take her from us. You're done, Mom. We're done. Linda's lawyer guided her out, her protests echoing down the hallway. The investigation concluded 2 weeks later. Every allegation was disproven. Emma came home on a Tuesday afternoon, confused but excited to see her room again. Mama! Daddy! She launched herself at us, and I held her so tight Marcus had to remind me to breathe. We're here, baby. We're all here. That night, after Emma fell asleep between us in bed, Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from Linda. Please, Marcus, let me explain. I made a mistake. Can we talk? He showed me the message. What do you want to do? I asked. He deleted it without responding. I want to focus on our family. Linda tried several more times over the following weeks. Calls, texts, letters. Even showed up at our house once, crying on the doorstep about how sorry she was. Marcus answered the door. Mom, I need you to leave. I made a terrible mistake. I was wrong. Please, let me make this right. You can't make this right. You tried to take our daughter. You traumatized Emma, you traumatized Dahlia, and you betrayed everything a family is supposed to be. I'm still your mother. And Emma is still my daughter. The daughter you tried to destroy our family to get rid of. I have to choose, and I choose her. I choose Dahlia. I choose the family we built. Marcus, please. Goodbye, Mom. He closed the door. I heard her crying outside for a few minutes before she left. 3 months later, the civil suit settled. Linda paid damages and signed an agreement to have no contact with our family. Her lawyer told Rebecca she was seeing a therapist, working through her issues with the adoption. Do you think she's really changing? I asked Rebecca over coffee. Maybe, but that's not your concern anymore. Your concern is Emma. Jennifer visited that afternoon while Emma played in her room. How's she doing? Jennifer asked, watching Emma arrange her stuffed animals in elaborate tea party scenarios. She's resilient. Kids are amazing that way. She still asks about Grandma Linda sometimes. What do you tell her? The truth, in 3-year-old terms, that sometimes people we love make choices that hurt us, and we have to keep ourselves safe. That love means protecting the people who need us. And how are you? I thought about it. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I'm also grateful. Grateful? For Marcus. For our friends. For everyone who stood up for us. For proof that our family is real and strong, no matter what Linda thinks. Marcus came home early that evening. After we put Emma to bed, we sat on the back porch with wine. "I've been thinking," he said, "about what my mom said, about biological bonds. Marcus, let me finish. She was wrong. The moment I held Emma, the moment she looked at me and smiled, that was it. She became mine. Not because of blood, but because I chose her. We chose her." "I know." "Do you? Because I need you to know that what my mother did doesn't reflect on you or our family. It reflects on her inability to understand what family really means." I leaned against him. "I know. And I'm glad Emma will grow up understanding that family is built on love, not biology." Emma ran over and climbed into my lap. "Mama, can we have spaghetti for dinner?" "Absolutely. Want to help me make it?" "Yes." As she dragged me toward the kitchen, I looked back at Jennifer. "We're going to be okay," I said. "All three of us." And I meant it. Linda had tried to prove we weren't a real family, that adoption wasn't enough, that biology mattered more than choice and love. Instead, she'd proven the opposite. We chose each other every day. That made us unbreakable. Have you ever had to cut ties with a toxic family member? How did you protect your own family? Share your story in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about standing up for what matters.